Hello, everyone. It is your financial coach, Donna, and I want to welcome you back to Growing My Wealth with Donna, a place where we're changing our mindset about money and increasing our wealth. You know, I always like to start my podcast with a question. Today's questions are: do you have life insurance? Do you have enough life insurance? And do you have the right ones? Today, I have invited Dr. Peggy Britt to join us and to provide some insight on why life insurance is so important to have. Hello, Dr. Britt. Welcome to Grow My Wealth with Donna. And thank you so much for joining me today. You are my first guest to interview on my podcast, and I am so excited about the information we're going to share with our listeners today regarding life insurance. It is a topic and conversation that everyone should have with their loved ones, but unfortunately, we do not. Today, we're going to talk about the importance and benefits of having life insurance. But before we get started, please take some time to introduce yourself and tell us why and how you got started in the life insurance industry.
Wow. Well, it certainly is my pleasure to be with you, Donna. After having known you for X amount of years, yes. Certainly good to be here today. And anytime I get to share with people this message of life insurance, it really, I get fired up about it all over again, because I know it's an essential part of anybody's financial portfolio. I have been and continue to be in the music industry as a recording artist and all of that. And I still love that, still enjoy that. That's still one of my passions. But a few years ago, I needed some financial guidance for something that I had seen my mom do, but I knew that it was getting close to my needing to have to do that for myself. As a matter of fact, I was behind in doing that. So when the young lady, Mrs. Tammy Frazier, who is known throughout the financial industry, of course, and my mentor, when she came to my home and she shared with me, of course, the things that I needed, but she gave me the opportunity to be a part of spreading the word about the need, the value, the uses of life insurance. And on the spot, Donna, I fell in love with it because I know it can make a difference in the lives of people. Yes. So that's how I got here. That's why I'm staying here. That's why I'm passionate about it. That's why I love what I do. That's why anytime somebody's asking me, like you, to talk about it, I'm down for it, because I know we need it.
Yes, we do. We really do.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say thank you so much for accepting my invitation to do this. And like you said earlier, you've known me almost all my life. You have been a mentor, a teacher, spiritual advisor, and so much more to me and my family. So I want my viewers to know that I asked you to join me today because I trust your judgment and the information you will share with us regarding life insurance options. So, to my listeners, if you are still debating on whether or not life insurance is right for you, you need to stay tuned. Are you ready, Dr. Britt?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Look, the young people say nowadays, when you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Come on.
That's right. Exactly. I love that. I love that. So my first question is, why is it important to have life insurance? And what are the benefits of having life insurance?
Okay. The insurance industry has, of course, been a vital part of our economy for hundreds of years. Mm-hmm. And basically what insurance does on any level is to protect anything that you value. If you value your car, you got car insurance. If you value your phone, you have phone insurance. Whatever it is that you value, more than likely you will get some kind of insurance on it. And why? Why do you get any kind of insurance? To protect yourself and your personal assets from loss. Okay? Any one of these areas that I mentioned can experience loss. You can lose your phone, you can get your car stolen or vandalized or whatever, damaged in some way. But we know that when we have insurance, we don't have to take the full brunt of that loss. We can pay into that insurance, and for some of them, for some of the insurances, of course, there is a deductible. Now, okay. Yeah. The question is, do you value your life?
Exactly.
Because if you value your life, you'll get life insurance. Why? To protect your loved ones against the loss of what you are contributing to the economy of the family. Okay. And then, Donna, insurance has gotten so good that not only does it protect you or protect your loved ones after you die, but it also can protect you while you are alive with something called living benefits. Well, Dr. Britt, what's living benefits? Living benefits has to do with if you get cancer, a heart attack, a stroke, Lou Gehrig's disease, any kind of a complicated condition like that, and they're outlined within the policies, of course, you can qualify. Listen to this. This is so great. You can qualify. That kind of policy qualifies you to go in the policy, to take money out that has grown. Of course, you know, money grows inside of a permanent life insurance product. And you're able to take that money out. Listen to this. Tax free. Okay. Somebody listening is saying this. Well, I got long-term disability and I got short-term disability, but guess what? On the back end of that, you're going to have to pay taxes. But inside a life insurance policy, inside a life insurance policy, there is an Internal Revenue Code 7702 that allows money to grow tax-free, allows the distributions to be tax-free. That's why if something happens to you, God forbid you pass away, your loved ones will receive the money that's inside of the life insurance policy. How? Tax-free.
Tax-free.
I love it. I don't know. I wish we were on Zoom so I could look, because sometimes when I'm on an appointment, I look in the back of the room. I say, who wants to pay some more taxes? Anybody?
Nobody. We're trying to figure out how to reduce our taxes.
And you said the magic word, and that's exactly what this will do. Reduce your tax liability in case something happens to you or you're not able to provide as you were for your family. So yeah, we need that kind of protection against loss. I mean, and sometimes I heard you asking questions, and I love it because questions make us think about things more so than people telling us things. We have to think about the questions. And so one of my questions would be, what level would your family live at if you weren't there?
Right.
That's what life insurance protects you against.
Right.
If you get the right kind and if you get enough.
Right.
Because you got to think about that. Okay, what would life be like for my family if the $75,000 that I'm making is no longer there? Because your old employer is not going to feel sorry for you and call up your widow or your widower and say, listen, this person was a great employee, so we're just going to keep on sending the checks. No, ma'am.
No, I don't think so.
Not on this planet.
No.
Like Judge Judy says, not in my America.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Wow. So, because I just learned something about, there's life insurance that you can use while you're living. So if you get cancer or something like that, you have
and
something to cover that, because the treatments and all of that are very expensive.
I had to find that out the hard way. I had to find it out the hard way. And that's why I'm so passionate and adamant about sharing this with people, because I went through a bout with cancer. And of course, my insurance had not kicked in. I was getting insurance, I think, from my employer. But by the time I got to my last treatment, that insurance had run out. And I didn't have this kind of insurance that I'm talking about. So listen, I'm thinking, I'm thinking I'm good. So I'm going up to the oncologist's office to get my last treatment. I'm bopping in the office. And so the young lady pulls me aside and say, Miss Britt, we're not going to be able to serve you today. I said, and what's the
Why
reason?
not?
Yeah, what's the reason? She said, well, your insurance, you don't have the insurance to cover this. And I'm trying to be a big ball, a high roller. I said, well, look, how much does
I got insurance.
you know what I mean? No.
Uh-oh.
I said, so how much does the treatment cost? Because we can make this happen. Baby, she went back there and ran that paper off. And when she came back to me with the paper that said my treatment cost, I hope you sitting down, $18,000.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am. $18,000
for one.
one.
Oh my gosh.
One. And so I was schooled at that point about the need for this kind of thing that I did not have. So I had to wait until another insurance kicked in before I was able to get that last treatment.
Wow.
And you see, people they don't understand that when they shooting that $18,000 bill at you, and you just working 9 to 5, it's your funds are going to be depleted very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So Donna, it just, and I'm glad you reminded me of that, because I'm going to begin to share that story when I sit down with my prospects, to let them know that, hey, this is not a joke. And what happens with that living benefits on your insurance, hopefully, the listeners are really, really listening. What happens is, the thing that was a death benefit, or the face value, now becomes a living benefit.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important too. I better say this before I forget. That's why it's so important too, to qualify for these things while you are healthy.
Yes.
While you're healthy. Because after you have a bout with cancer, after you have a heart attack, and a stroke, very, very difficult, if not impossible, to find this kind of coverage.
Wow. Great information. I'm glad we're having this conversation today.
Yeah.
And so you talked about the living benefits. What are some other types of life insurance that are available to us today?
Well, you can, of course, get permanent life insurance without the living benefits. But guess what? There's something that is even as wonderful as that. There are policies where you can actually get long-term care. Now, 60% of people, especially since we're living longer, there's more of a possibility that we're going to need long-term care. It's just how it is, because we're living longer.
Yes.
But the permanent insurance, of course, allows you to grow your money and to have even a supplement to your retirement. So that means that if you never get sick, you'll still have money inside of that permanent life insurance that's going to supplement your retirement, so that however good your retirement already is, it still is better. Plus you have your life insurance protection. So,
Okay.
and I think a lot of what we do has to do, especially with permanent life insurance, has to do with the tax advantages, which are tax deferred earnings and tax advantage loans. You can borrow money. You can, we call it BYOB. You can be your own bank. You can go in and borrow money against that account, and after you've paid it back, they don't even charge you the interest. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Tax advantage cash withdrawals, tax-free transfers, and of course the tax-free death benefit. And insurance is a way, Donna, of investing your money without having to be investment savvy. In other words, the company is going to find the best place to put your money. Why? Because they're making money too.
Right.
So they're going to find the best place to put your money so that your money grows. And that way it's a win-win situation.
Gotcha. Because I need the information about what type of insurance is good for Demetrius and I, because with retirement, what would be great for us to think about?
It would be great for you to think about the living benefits. Now, the thing about it is, the older you are when you get it, of course, with any insurance, it's going to be more expensive. But what you have to think about is, what is the purpose of it? Because if the purpose of it is cash accumulation, then that's what we can set it up to do. That, of course, you'll still have the insurance with it. Okay. However, the cash accumulation will be your focus and your target. Some people, the living benefits is their target. Some people, the LTC is their target. It depends on what your focus is for getting it.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
And also, I don't want to leave out the fact that term life insurance is also a good thing. Less expensive, of course, because it doesn't have the bells and the whistles. But believe it or not, some term insurance can also carry with it living benefits. Now, this is what we do for a lot of families, Donna. We do a blend. They will have some permanent insurance over here where their money is growing, and then they'll have some term insurance over here, so that if anything happens, anything tragic or anything any kind of sickness, catastrophic illness that kicks in, they don't have to bother the money that's growing, and they'll be able to go and take the money from what? The term. Okay, term life insurance, so that the money that's growing can keep growing.
Okay.
So there are a lot of ways that we can help, and it's excuse me, especially military couples. We love them. Excuse me, because we understand that there are some things that we can do that can enhance retirement for them. So absolutely, so many different ways. Listen, Donna, I was reading this book. Man, I can't think of the name of the book. I got so many of these financial books. By the way, whoever's listening to this, when's the last time you read a financial book?
Exactly.
When's the last time you read a financial book? No need of wading your way through life, living on old wives' tale, putting your money under the mattress, hoping that something is going to happen for you, hoping that the employer is going to look out for you. Go get you a book.
That's right.
Get you a book and read and get some knowledge about it, and then go sit down with a financial professional. Okay, me, preferably,
right?
But somebody,
yes, somebody.
Because guess what? Let me tell you what's going on. See, I told you, this fires me up. Guess what's going on? Wealthy people have people like Edward Jones and Charles Schwab reaching out to them. They're going to call them. But who's calling the middle class? Who's going after our middle class earners who are bearing the tax burden of our country? Who's talking to them? Well, the company that I'm with, and can I mention the company that I'm with?
Sure.
Okay. The company that I'm with is World Financial Group, and we reach out to the middle class because we know the middle class is in the biggest financial crunch.
Right.
We have to support people that can't pay taxes, and then we have to pay the taxes that the wealthy have found a way not to pay.
Not to pay. Exactly.
And I ain't mad at them. If they found a way not to pay them, great. But guess what? I done found another way not to have to pay so much. Come on.
Right, exactly. We all want to pay less taxes.
Exactly. Yes.
So, and when you talk about financial books, I did a YouTube video on books that you should read. And that's not just the only 6 that I talked about. There are so many financial books that we need to read and to increase our knowledge.
There's a product in the marketplace, and the company that is our parent company is the number one provider for that product. It's called an IUL. It's called an Index Universal Life, where you never, listen to me carefully, you never lose any money. You never lose any money. And what that does, and I'm saying that to say there's a book out called, hopefully your listeners will write this down, The Financial Pocket Knife. The Financial Pocket Knife. And that book has to do with all the uses of this IUL. Listen, this guy, his name is Chris Kahn, I think. Chris Kahn, you can look him up on YouTube as well, has become a real estate mogul using life insurance.
Oh, wow.
He did it, but it's legal. It's legal. So it's so many other uses other than just paying our loved ones or giving our loved ones the death benefit. So much more.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was one of the ones that's thinking life insurance is just to take care of your family when you pass away.
Yeah.
Did not have any idea that there were like multiple layers, or you can kind of, it sounds like you can like customize your life insurance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Depending on your purpose for it.
Right.
And you know, what's best for you and what you want to do. And of course, when we sit down with people, we take a financial snapshot of what's going on with them, and see how we can match their goals and dreams to what's already going on with them.
So do you think that parents should get life insurance on their children?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, even with this same IUL, believe it or not, people that have, especially younger children, can begin to put money into that life insurance for them. And by the time they get ready to go to college, there's money there that they don't have to pay the taxes for. Other than that, if when you put money into CDs, and even when you have money in a savings account, whatever the earnings are, you have to pay taxes on it. However, if the person has a permanent life insurance policy, then the money that's grown on the inside of the policy is not taxable when you go to get it. And that's the difference between that too and a 401k. Well, people say, well, I got a 401k. Yeah. But if you're younger than 59 and a half, guess what? If you go get any of that money, not only
pay a penalty,
pay taxes, but you're going to pay a penalty. Yep. And when you take it out after 59 and a half, you got to pay taxes. Tell me somebody when Uncle Sam showed up on your job for you.
Exactly.
Never. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
never.
Why do I want to give him anything else? Good grief, Charlie Brown.
He already take too much.
Yes.
Yep. So in other words, so I can get a life insurance policy and help pay for my child's college education.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I hope my listeners are hearing all of this information, because you're sharing some great information that can help them when they first start a family, thinking about, get life insurance so I can have money to pay for college,
Listen,
for retirement.
You can insure a child when they get to be 15 days old.
Okay.
15 days. And think about, let's say if we do a lot of things. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this. We throw these $1,000 parties, for 2-year-olds that are not going to remember anything, instead of taking that money, that $1,000, and putting it somewhere where it's going to grow for that kid. So by the time they get 18 years old, okay, all right, I'm gonna get off that.
You said it right.
Yeah. So
we use that money wisely.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's so funny. Now that I've become a part of this industry, I really am, excuse me, much more cognizant of what I'm doing with my money. And I can afford whatever I want, really, at this point in my life, because most of what I want I already have. And if it's too far out of reach, I know I don't need it no way. But
exactly.
But I was going somewhere. Oh, I was going to get some tea that the Chinese restaurant makes that was not far from the UPS store that I was going to have. I said, wait a minute, why am I going to pay them when I got some tea mix right at my
home?
All I need is some sugar and some water. Oh no, y'all, no ma'am, y'all not getting it today. Y'all not getting it today.
If we all would think like that,
yeah,
we could save more money.
Whew.
And then with that money we save, we can invest and we can purchase some life insurance.
Absolutely. And see, the 4 areas, I'll say this, the 4 areas that are in crisis are savings, retirement, protection, and living benefits. Those are the areas that are in crisis. People are not saving anymore. That's why they're sitting around waiting for, no disrespect to you if you had to do this, but I can tell you, had you put away an emergency fund, what is that? An emergency fund means 3 to 6 months worth of your income in an account that you can access in case of a what?
Emergency.
Absolutely.
Hey, I've talked about that topic as well. You have to have an emergency fund.
Right. And then, of course, with Social Security disappearing, ladies and gentlemen, as we speak, we don't even know if it's going to be here 5 years from now.
I tell my daughter, don't count on Social Security.
No, ma'am, can't do it. And what about pensions? Most pensions are disappearing. I don't know what the military is doing. They're probably not there, but at these private companies, nobody has a pension anymore. And you used to could retire from a great company with a pension. Not anymore.
Because they ran out of money.
Exactly. And after 2008, people went to bed with $100,000 and woke up with 60. Come on. Nah.
Yes, that's so true.
Yeah.
Well, for me and my husband, we're getting older, and we're thinking about, well, what we need to do if we have to stay in a nursing home. I don't want to put that financial burden on my child.
Exactly.
Can life insurance help me with paying for staying in a nursing home? How does that work?
That's what that LTC is for, long-term.
Long-term.
Now, the thing that you have to think about, ladies and gentlemen, and Donna, the thing that you have to reason in your own mind is, what am I willing to sacrifice? And how am I willing to discipline myself so that I can have the benefits of these things? Because sometimes when you talk to people, they say, well, that's expensive. Okay, expensive is relative. The thing is not about price, ladies and gentlemen, it's about value.
Right.
It's not about price, it's about value. Listen, I love purses.
Me too.
My next purse purchase is gonna be a real, come on, somebody say real, a
Real.
real Louis Vuitton. But
Okay now.
and guess what? I can afford it right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a reward for a place that I want to get in my business.
Right.
You understand
You
what I'm
sound
saying?
like my husband.
Yeah, I could go in there and get it today, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to get my business to another level. And when I get my business at that level, I'm going to reward myself. Why? Because I'm going to discipline myself to do without it, and I'm going to sacrifice what it takes to get it.
That's right. So discipline and sacrifice are needed in order to save money. To do anything, you have to be committed and you have to be dedicated.
To do anything well, it's going to take sacrifice and discipline.
Yep.
That's just the bottom line.
Right. So people don't know you can use life insurance to pay for if your parents have to go into a nursing home.
And guess what? We even offer a company that pays for your funeral expenses and all of that. And it's not the same as prepaid. It's not like that. It has a life insurance component to it. Not a big one, but it is part of that company's offering. And what happens is when you get this, when you are approved for this kind of policy, you are able to talk to one of the directors to make sure that you list everything you want when your time comes. And what happens is when that happens, when that unfortunate event happens, one call is made to a designated person. Listen to this. And the family doesn't have to make any more calls. The company makes all the calls, the casket call, the flower call, all those things that you would be taking care of at that time, because you've had that conversation. And guess what? Most policies, you have to wait 30 to 60 days to get the money for life insurance. But since this is a funeral concierge company, it's called Everest, Everest, because it's a funeral concierge company, you get the face value of the policy in 2 days.
Oh.
Not 30, 2 days. Why? Because you know the funeral home want their money.
Yes, they do.
They want their money.
They do.
And rather than walking in blindly and handing over your life insurance policy in the hands of somebody that you don't know whether they're going to treat you fairly or not, why not take care of that up front, get the money in 2 days and be done?
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I've lost several family members, and it was just, you take it and say at the funeral home, this is the life insurance policy that I have.
Right. And what can you do with this? Now, I'm not saying that all funeral directors are sleazy.
Of course.
I'm not saying that.
Right.
But why take the chance when, if you took care of that up front, no trouble at the river?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You are sharing some great, I'm learning a lot today.
Oh, wonderful.
That I didn't know. Oh, wow. So here's one of the questions that I have. I'm deciding to get life insurance, but how would I know how much I need? How do I determine the amount of money that I need?
Okay. In our company, we do something called the dime method, because these are the 4 areas that most people are concerned with. And these are the 4 areas that need to be covered by the proper amount of protection. And I use proper protection because a lot of time, Donna, in our community, if you say insurance, people are ready to use some bad words. So anyway, uh, but we talk about debt, D. We talk about income, I. We talk about M for mortgage, and we talk about E for education. Okay. Those are the 4 areas. Now, in your case, probably you could eliminate the E because I think your daughter is already graduated. Is that true? Absolutely. So, yes. And congrats, as a matter of fact.
Thank you.
We think about those things because those are the things that most middle-class families are most concerned with. If anything happens to me, will my debt be paid off? If anything happens to me, is there income replacement? Okay, remember the question that I asked a few moments ago. What's going to happen to my family if I'm not able to contribute what I've been contributing?
Correct. Okay?
Will they be able to live at the same level, or will my family that's been living in a house have to move to an apartment? Will my kids be able to go to college? Or will they have to take out student loans, which takes them way too long to pay off?
Yes.
After getting that degree. Oh my goodness.
Yes. It takes forever. Okay. I can tell you that.
Okay.
From experience.
Okay. So those are the kinds of things that we consider. And again, when you sit down with the financial professional, you're really able to figure that out, or at least being guided into the right direction for how much you need. Because when we do that with the average family, Donna, actually needs about $1 million worth of insurance. But you know how much they have? They have about $100,000. And you know what that's connected to? That's connected to the job. They don't do anything on their own. Anything. Which means if you leave the job, or the job decides they want you to leave, come on, somebody.
You don't have any life insurance.
You don't have any life insurance. You out there buck naked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You are. Absolutely. You are. Or they give you an option, you can take it up, and then you're just like, oh, I didn't know that they were paying this amount.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and that's why we need to have this conversation. They need to talk to a financial advisor so you can have all this information and make wise decisions.
Absolutely. And that's what we do. There are a lot of companies out there, of course, and they help people in a lot of different ways. But what we are very proud of in our company is that we're client oriented. We want to make sure that the client gets something that's suitable and affordable. So when that happens, we really have met the burden of what we are there to do.
Right. So, the big thing I hear all the time is generational wealth.
Woo! Help me, somebody.
And I talk about that all the time. Can you talk about and tell our listeners how life insurance can help us to have generational wealth, to pass down a legacy?
Exactly. And listen, this is the kind of vocabulary, Donna, that is not prevalent in our community.
No, you're right.
When we talk about money, we talk about stuff like raises and bonuses and raises and bonuses and perks and the benefit package and all of that. And on some level, I think that's great. But we have to get beyond that when we're talking about money, because when we're setting up legacy, it means that the name of our family lives on after we're gone.
Right.
Okay. I don't know of a Kennedy that's broke. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know one, and probably never will.
No.
I don't. And I don't know of a Walton from Sam Walton's family who began Walmart that's broke.
Right.
Why? Because they set themselves up with life insurance, ladies and gentlemen, so that they could pass this money, this legacy this. And what does money do? Does money get you happiness? No, but it gives you options for what you want to make you happy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so when we talk about generational wealth, let me give you this example. I talked to this young man, very good friend of mine, had a teenage daughter and a young son. And I'm in this industry, so of course I'm going to ask him these questions. So do you have anything in place in case something happens to you, sir? Well, they're going to have to work hard just like I work hard. I work hard. Are you kidding me, sir? Seriously?
We got to change our mindset.
That's what you're thinking about, the future of your children. So I wish your listeners could see me do this example, because I'm just doing it with my hands on the screen. But listen, okay, you start here, okay, and you don't leave anything. Here's your children, and you don't leave anything for them. Guess where they start? They start at the same place, ladies and gentlemen, at the bottom of the ladder. But what happens when you're able to leave them something that they can step up on? It means that they don't have to. Most of us want our children to do better than us.
Right.
So
I know I want mine.
Exactly. So what do? We leave them something that helps them to be a leg up.
Right.
And then they do the same thing and for their children. And what are they? A leg up. And then they need theirs and it goes on and on. That's how generational wealth is produced. That's how it goes on and on and on.
And so we have to change our mindset. We have to change the way we think. And that's what my husband and I are doing. We're trying to create generational wealth. Absolutely. We want our daughter to be better off than where we are.
Right.
And then she can pass that on to her kids, and her kids can pass it on, and it just keeps going.
Exactly. And you're right. The whole point of you and me having people to read books is so that their minds get dealt with concerning these things, and we can find solutions. A lot of times they say, if you want people to not know something, put it in a book. But because
that's right. I've heard that before.
Because we don't read. But in order to broaden our understanding of things, and sometimes in our community we base generational things that have been inflicted upon us, believe that we can't do any better, that we're stuck where we are. But if you do the same thing with your money that they're doing with their money, your money is going to do the same thing their money is doing. Maybe not at the same level, but at least at a better level than you would have done had you not known.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I understand you, because we kind of repeat what our parents used to do. And then we have to change that way of thinking and pass that on to our children and others, like we're doing today. Yeah, we're sharing knowledge we can change our way of thinking about money.
Right, and we pass it on. And listen, I'm a victim of this. My mom and dad were great with money. Great, both of them, great with money. It's the reason why I live in a mortgage-free house today, because they were great with money. Mm-hmm. But the backside of that, the flip side of that coin is, Donna, they never taught me.
Exactly.
So I made, oh my God, the worst mistakes because I had no teaching. I benefited from what they knew.
Right.
But I didn't have anybody to teach me how to handle that first paycheck that I got teaching school in Chesapeake, Virginia. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't know what to do with it. And when you don't know what to do with it, you know what to do with it? You spend it.
Right. You do. You do. And as you say that, I think about it. My grandparents, their house was paid for. Everybody, and now we live in with a mortgage because they didn't share their knowledge with us. My grandfather owned properties, but he never shared that with me to tell me, hey, that's something that you should do.
Right.
You should own, invest in real estate.
Right.
Because it will pay off later. But hey, I know now.
Right.
And I'm sharing that knowledge with my daughter and others.
And it's never too late to do better. Never.
Right.
Never.
Right. Wow. We have had a great conversation today.
Absolutely.
I know our listeners need to realize they need to be dedicated. They need to commit. They need to talk with a financial planner, and they need to read.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
reading is fundamental.
It is. Is there anything else that you want to share, Ms. Britt, or any closing remarks?
To all of you who listen to Donna, I've always known Donna and her husband Demetrius to be smart young people. I've always known them to want to do the right thing. I've always known them to be just stand up in the community and just people that made you proud to know them.
Oh, thank you.
With this program and her being concerned that you guys who are listening find out these things, and so that, because listen, don't believe that knowledge is power. Let me tell you what it is. Knowledge is power when you implement it. That's when it becomes powerful. Mm-hmm. Because knowledge is still in the book and still in your head until you do something with it.
Right. Put it in action.
Exactly. So I'm going to admonish you to find a financial professional, not a money manager. That's different. Okay. A financial professional who's going to guide you. And I suggest my company, World Financial Group. My email address is peggybritt.wfg@gmail.com. Reach out to me, please. I'm licensed in many, many states. Wherever you are listening to this, we can have a conversation and I can help you. But if not me, please, ma'am, please, sir, sit down with someone who can give you some guidance that shows you how to make the money that you're working for, hard for, work as hard for you as you're working for it. I can't say it enough. Get your house in order. Donna, I wish you could play. I wish I could play this this little 1 minute commercial that I wrote that I usually end up sharing with my listeners. A song that I wrote called "Get Your House in Order," and it's only a minute long, but it just talks about the fact that we just need to get our house in order.
We do.
And thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I love what I do. Love sharing with people. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. And I was going to ask you, how can people get in contact with you? But you've given an email address. And so I'm also going to put it in my description. I'll give your contact information. And if there's a website or Instagram or Facebook, if there's some other type of social media platform that you use, I will include that in the description as well.
I am on Facebook at Peggy Britt Serves, and you can inbox me there. Peggy Britt Serves. My music page is Peggy Britt Sings, and Instagram I think is Peggy Britt Serves as well. Okay.
But I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, I'm going to provide her information in the description. And like she said, find you a financial professional. But I found one right for you right here today.
Exactly.
So I want to tell my listeners, as always, thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.